And developing right now, Mitt Romney has taken the stage at a campaign rally outside of Pittsburgh, Irwin, Pennsylvania.
Looking for work or can only get part-time jobs. I think he's heard that about half of this year's college graduates can't find work or find work that's consistent with their college degree. I think he's heard the message that the median income in America has dropped by 10% in the last 4 years. I think he's seen the record number of foreclosures, and so he has to recognize his policies have failed to get America working again. And my guess is he wonders why that is. And I have the answer for him. Liberal policies don't make good jobs. You look at them one by one. Everybody knows that our health care system has all sorts of problems and things that need to be corrected. Most important of which, or one of the most important, is it's very expensive. Health insurance is extraordinarily expensive. There are a lot of things that need to be done to improve health care. But Obamacare is not the answer. We got to replace it and get rid of it. He has other policies that haven't helped create jobs. Obamacare, by the way, I hope you know the numbers on that and the impact it's had on job creation. The Chamber of Commerce went out to their members and surveyed them and said, what's been the impact of Obamacare? And three quarters said they are less likely to hire people because of Obamacare. You see, his policies did not help create jobs. They depressed job creation, and that's why we're still struggling with so many people out of work. And by the way, let me just note, this number, 8.2% unemployment. We've gone 41 months with unemployment above 8%. And why is that number? Why do we keep on talking about 8%? Because that's the bogey the president himself set. He said, look, if we let him borrow $787 billion in his first year, which Congress let him do, that he'd hold unemployment below 8%, and it has not been below 8% since. And that's a number, but it represents real people, people facing some real tough times, people out of work and stop looking for work, as I said, but also people who are actually working in jobs, a lot of them facing tough times. A lot of people employed wonder whether they're going to be able to afford retirement. There are a number of folks who, I don't know whether you read the story over the weekend. There was a story in the New York Times which described a couple of women that are working in a daycare center, one of whom is a single mom. She has 3 kids. One full-time job, 3 kids does not make a real comfortable life. She's had tougher and tougher times. Being middle class in America is getting tougher and tougher. And a lot of people in the middle class have fallen into poverty. This president's economy is not working for the American people, even for those that are employed. So I mentioned Obamacare as something that kills jobs. There's another one. When you increase the number of regulations at a rate 3 times that of his predecessor, with a bill like Dodd-Frank that makes it harder for small banks to grow and thrive and make loans, you don't add jobs. When you have energy policies that say no to fracking and no to drilling offshore and no to drilling in Alaska, no to taking advantage of our resources here, when you say no to coal, when you put in place regulations that don't allow coal to be able to be mined or to be used, these things kill jobs, and that's got to stop. There's something else that's got to stop. And I believe you know about this, but you know the history of our country is a country where individuals with their dreams go out and begin an enterprise like this one here that Joe and his colleagues built, and they go out and talk to friends and family and say, would you loan us the money to start the business? And people scrape together the cash and build or buy a building like they bought this one here and get started in business, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. That's sort of how we've done it in this country. And that's very different than the way they've done it in some other countries where the government comes in. And based on who you know in government, who is a friend in government, you get money from them. You get taxpayer dollars. That's happening in this country today. I'm ashamed to say that we're seeing our president hand out money to the businesses of campaign contributors. When he gave money, $500 million in loans to a company called Fisker that makes high-end electric cars, and they make the cars now in Finland, that is wrong, and it's got to stop. That kind of crony capitalism does not create jobs, and it does not create jobs here. I believe in free people and free markets, and I want government to get out of investing in individual businesses. So the president's looking around for someone to blame. And recently I became the reason for all our problems here. I was a surprise to my family and me, but he's always looking for someone out there. ATM machines, tsunamis, China, Europe. I mean, it's always something. Congress. We won't forget, by the way, that Congress was in his party for 2 years with a supermajority. He takes responsibility for what happened while he was president and he had his Congress. But so he's looking around. He can't find someone to blame effectively. He's out of ideas. He's got no new ideas for getting the economy going. He's got no one new to blame. He's out of touch.
Mitt Romney speaking outside of Pittsburgh. Joining me now is Politico's Jonathan Martin. Hey, J. Mart, thanks so much. He is on the attack against President Obama and on the whole issue of the economy.
Yeah, this is the campaign here that the Romney folks want to run. It's a pure referendum on this president's handling of the economy and laying the country's economic difficulties at the doorstep of the White House. The problem is that for the last week, 10 days now, that's not been the conversation. So the Romney folks are trying to get back on course. And, you know, the best way to do that is to have the candidate out there in these swing states on the stump saying it. And the Romney folks have obviously not had him out there as much recently. I think you're going to see a change.